Hello everybody and welcome to the Saturn V Academy Maze Game Project, Week 1, Session 2. It is the most epic video maze game ever, class. Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Smith. I'll be your host today. Thank you very much. Now is a good time to get a snack if you like, and pause. I'll wait for you. Glad you're back. On the menu today, we have the video warm-up, of course. Weird but true. 3 plexers for you. Some tough ones, by the way. History of computers. It's called the Babbage Machine. Scratch, of course. We're going to talk about backgrounds today. How to make some new sprites. And do something called the glide. On the extra stuff today, I'm going to show you how to hide and show. And then finally, it's the Kahoot quiz. But first, our video warm-up. And our video warm-up will start with something called the Bird Owl Dance. I just call it the Owl Dance. And it's something we like to start every class with. Kind of goes like this. Can you go like that? My favorite's coming up. Here it comes. It goes like this. That's a good way to stretch. You don't have to scratch, though. You don't have to scratch. We'll scratch later and scratch. Sometimes he just stares at you. This is good movement. You don't have to get a stuffed animal or anything like that. Yeah. This is the one I like. It's the neck stretch. Can you do... It's the Owl Dance, everybody. Hey, how would you like one of these for the summer?
Denali is designed to be powerful and distinctive, from its boldly redesigned front end to its unique wheels and sharp chrome accents. It's a first impression that demands a second look.
I have a Ford. Check this out.
7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have.
A million miles away when I had a little mind that I needed to say, but I don't now, cause I'm mom and dad, I'm a grown-up boy, saving all my money, gonna buy myself a new toy, took a jet to the bottom of the visionary mind, where I'm making up the words to a song that doesn't rhyme. If you can't see me, then you better leave a note, wait, scratch that, cause I'm never gonna be at home, such a funny little thought, everybody thinks now that I ought to rock, nah, true, if you know what's best for you, shut my eyes down now, can I get a deep blue, sipping 7 up like a full-grown man, even gotta be it now, got it looking so grand, on account of the band in the middle of my palm, and I can't admit I don't belong, gotta jump now, it's almost 75 degrees. If you're looking at the wing, I bet you feel the breeze. Got enough sun now to make the skin wanna dive outside one time. Let's fly.
You should try that with your garden hose in the pool. This is called What Is It? And this is a kid who is looking at something called a payphone, and he doesn't know what it is.
You know what that is? What is this? What is it? There's no idea what it is. It's a phone booth, Jake. It's called a phone booth.
Put money in it.
Is this?
And it lets you call. Is this an old-fashioned phone? Yes, here's one of my favorites. This is a bee that's caught in a spider's web, and then his friend, the bee, rescues him and kills the spider.
A bumblebee caught in a spider's web in my window, fighting for survival. Filmed on my phone to show my son, who was asleep at the time, a sort of brutal life lesson. But then a second bumblebee crashes in and saves the first. Slowed down, you can even see the moment the second bee, with incredible speed and accuracy, stings the spider.
Boom, right there. One more time.
Slower and closer, you can see the stinger extending, then retracting.
Oh.
Bumblebees don't die when they sting, by the way, that's honeybees. So did the first bee somehow communicate its distress to the second, or could it be just chance? It's pretty rare to see two bumblebees together. Bee experts, please tell us. I caught the two bees afterwards and released them out of the window, but I couldn't find that spider anywhere.
I wonder why. There's a good chance that spider's dead. Okay, hey, this is called Plexers, everybody. Again, I'll give you some clues, and then you can just pause, and I'll give you the answer. All right, here we go. This is the first one. Okay, if you've paused and you come back, I'll give you some clues. Typically, when you see something that doesn't make sense, like Meloni lion, there's probably two words there, and one word's in another word. And then the word in becomes part of the puzzle. So you see the word one, it's in something. I'll pause. So if you've come back and you see that it says 1 in a million, there's your expression. Hey, you're 1 in a million, you. This one's more for the adults. If the parents are nearby, you might want to grab them and ask them about this one. So you see the word economy. What's it doing? I'm pausing. Yeah, it's growing, so it's a growing economy. A lot of kids say the economy is getting bigger, which is not a bad answer. And now the last one, which is a very difficult one. So take a look at it. I'll wait. So here's a clue for the first one. You see the word stand, and then you see the letter I. I is under the word stand. I understand. So if you follow that logic, you undertake. To undermine. My undertaking. Pausing. So if you put it all together, you've got I understand you undertake to undermine my undertaking. That's it. Those are our Plexers today. It's the history of computers, everybody. We're moving on to number 2. Last week we learned about the abacus, the Roman counting machine, and the astrolabe. This is the Babbage machine. So we're going to zoom into our road here, and our road sign says it's The Different Engine by Charles Babbage, The Difference Engine. The year is 1786, and not much has changed in counting things since the abacus, the counting table, and the astrolabe. Then a soldier in the Hessian army, that's right, war again, he comes along with an idea of the machine that will do more complex calculations. He called it the Difference Engine. He wrote a book about it. Jump ahead to 1822, this guy named Charles Babbage comes along, and if Steve Jobs is the father of computers, this guy's the grandfather. The Hessian soldier, he couldn't make it work. But this guy could. This is what he made. It took him a while, in 1859, many years later, but he did it. He created a machine, and it still exists today in a museum.
Arctangents, logarithms,
it's called the Babbage.
Welcome to the Computer History Museum and our demonstration of Babbage's Difference Engine number 2. This particular one is Difference Engine number 2, Serial 2. What is this machine and why is it called the Difference Engine? It is essentially 7 stacked up adding machines, and by adding machines I mean literally that, not adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, square rooting, natural logarithms, etc. machines. I mean adding.
That's it. All it did was add lots and lots of numbers fast.
Okay. And it uses a method called the method of finite differences for evaluating polynomials. In the day, you did complex calculations by looking up things like...
The idea here is, though, that it worked and it printed out the answers here on this paper. Just
sines, cosines, arctangents, logarithms, right, etc. in big tables. The tables were computed by people. And the vast majority by number of those people were doing what this machine does. Adding a number to another number, that number to another number, that number to another number, that number, blah, 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 up to the end,
now,
to the result,
we're
and
going
then
to watch
starting back
him
again.
Work the machine. And this is how they do it.
See things moving up and down. Those things would actually couple them together, adding either the odd columns to the even or the even columns to the odd. It's like a little transmission for each set of number words.
Today we just use the calculators on our phone, which is much faster. Anyway, that's the difference machine. Pretty complex, but for back then, it was an amazing computer. All right, it's time for Scratch. Once again, just a quick reminder, and I'm not going to show this, but to log in, you go to Scratch, sign in, username is your first name, last initial 2016, your password is 5555 2016. Okay, we're going to work with backgrounds, characters, and glides. Now, I'm going to kind of go full screen here, so I'm going to disappear. Give me just a second. Give me one more second. There we go. Okay, so what we're looking at is the sprite, and I'm showing you that there's some arrows up at the top that you can grab, and you can actually shrink your character. Grab those arrows, you can actually make your character a little larger. You can stamp your character if you want, so you can double him up if you like. And now I'm grabbing scissors. Of course, scissors means you can cut your character out. Now, I've clicked below to what's called the Sprite Library. Here, you've got a whole bunch of choices of sprites. Fantasy, animals. This is one of my favorites because you can see letters. And these letters are awfully cool. People. Things, transportation. We're going to go back up to fantasy, and we're going to choose one of my favorites. His name is Gobbo. Gobbo will be our character today. And what we're going to do is make him glide. But first, I want to show you something that we're going to use often. We're going to go to events, and we're going to grab the start sign. We're going to go to motions, and we're going to grab something called go to. And we're going to click on a number. You see the number in there in the X and the Y axis. That's where Gobbo is. -187.5. Now look at me moving my arrow. Look below my arrow. You'll see numbers changing down at the bottom of the white screen. See the numbers changing? Well, that's called the XY axis. You see there's an invisible grid here on the screen. And wherever I move my arrow, it shows where the arrow is on the grid. I'm trying to get it now to 0, 0, which is very difficult. The grid is very tiny. But I got it close. But the point is here is you always want your character to start in the same place every time you click the green arrow or the green flag. I want him to start there at -187.5. So, if I move him here and I click the green flag, see he always starts at that -187.5. No matter where I drag him, he'll always start there. I'm adding something called the glide. We want our character to glide across the screen. but we need to change the XY axis. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to change that so it matches the one in the Go 2. Except we don't want him to glide to negative 187. That's where he already is. We just want him to glide to 187, positive 187. The 5 stays the same because he's moving along that 5 axis. That makes him go straight. I changed the time that he glides so he can move a little faster and slower. So instead of gliding for 50 seconds, which is kind of slow, or 2 seconds, which is kind of fast, I'm just going to change that to 5. I'm showing you here that the whole code is highlighted. That means it's working when it's highlighted. Okay, we've changed it to 5. He glides across the screen. I'm going to put this in a forever loop. And I want you to pause here and think about this question. What happens if I put it into a forever loop? Well, you're back, and I hope you answered that. In a forever loop, he should just keep gliding. See, because he goes back to the beginning, and he glides for 3 seconds to this spot. Goes back to the beginning, glides for 3 seconds to that spot. All right, now I'm clicking on something called a background. Just like a character, you have lots of choices of different backgrounds. Outdoors, indoors, other. You can put your character on the moon if you like. Now we're going to put our character just kind of in a brick wall with a sidewalk. There he is. And you see that even I can put a script into the background if I like. But I'm going to go back to Gabo. See how he's highlighted blue? Okay. There he is. He's gliding. But he looks more like he's floating rather than walking on the sidewalk. So I need to change something here. I'm going to pause again. What can I change to have him move down some? Well, you're back. You see that I need to put him here. I need to change that number, that negative 187 or whatever. It's hard for me to see it. I'm going to change the Y. I'm going to leave that Y the same. See what happens. So I've changed my Y to negative 50. And what he's doing is he's starting at negative 50, but he's gliding to the Y positive 5. So if I change that to negative 50, he should glide straight across. And he does. And he's in a forever loop. And our Gabo is walking on the sidewalk. So that's your assignment. Except I got some extra stuff for you. Let's go to it. Okay, now that our Gabo is gliding across the sidewalk, I want to show you something extra. We're going to go to looks. There's 2 right there, 2 small ones. They're called hide and show. They do exactly that. They hide the character, they show the character. Green flag. I'm going to grab something here new. It's called wait 1 second. What if I take the show and I put it there? So when the green flag clicks, he's going to show himself for 1 second. I'm going to change that 1 second. I'm going to change it to about 3 or 5 or whatever. And then I'm going to hide. So he's going to show himself for 3 seconds. He's going to hide. There it is. Now here's the problem. He's gone because we haven't told the stupid computer what to do. So if we change this to 3 seconds and we go back to looks and we get ourselves another show, now we have show. So hide, show, hide. No, he didn't hide. Wait a minute. Isn't he supposed to hide? He's not, because we only told him to do it once. So what if we put that whole thing in a forever loop? He'll just keep doing it over and over and over again. Show, hide. Show, hide. Show, hide. All right. That's some cool extra stuff. Looks like I'm changing some numbers down there. Hide. Show. Hide. Keeps appearing at the end. I'm trying to get him so he doesn't appear at the end. It's tough to do. You figure it out. All right. Here's your assignment. Go to Scratch. Log in successfully. Make a sprite move. Hey, wait, we did that last time. Let me share this with you. Go Scratch, log in successfully. Change your sprite. Change him to a different character. See if you can get him to glide. Put it in a forever loop. Change your background. Make it so he's kind of walking on the background. And see if you can make him hide and show. That's it. Okay. Now it is time for Kahoot. All right, and I'm back. So let's go to Kahoot. So if you bear with me here, we'll log into Kahoot, get started at kahoot.it. We'll get the game pin. Fortunately, you cannot do the pin. You can just do this with me as we go, and I see that it's 9876163. And I think I'll call myself Smith. We're in. Here we go, guys. 6 questions today. Are you ready? Here we go. The idea of a computing machine comes from a Hessian soldier during the Revolutionary War. Is this true or false? A lot of kids put false. It is true, my friends. And I'm in the lead. Thank you. What did the Hessian soldier do next? He took a nap. He cleaned his rifle. He wrote a book about the machine. He met George Washington. Well, he may have met George Washington, but he really wrote a book about the machine. That's all he could do. He couldn't build it. They didn't have the technology back then. The man who did read the book and make the machine was called Alexander Hamilton, John Adams, SpongeBob, or Charles Babbage. You answered correctly. Charles Babbage. Please don't say SpongeBob. Next question. 4 out of 6. The Babbage machine can calculate large amounts of data, like add it, print data for bomb trajectories, make ice cream, or run a marathon. That's right, it could calculate and add a bunch of numbers fast. I'm still in the lead. Question 5 of 6. The Babbage machine still exists today in a warehouse, a corner store, a museum, at the Babbage Corporation headquarters. You bet. A museum. Still working today. Final question. The most important date in this class is, and I don't know if I mentioned it to you, it's 1776, 1876, 1976, or 2006. I may not have mentioned it on this one, but it's 1976. That's correct. I'm the winner. 1976 because it's a very important date we're trying to work our way towards. Right now we're in the middle of the 1800s with Charles Babbage machine. But 1976, something amazing happened. We'll talk about it later. All right, everybody, that's our class. Again, your assignment, make your new sprite glide across a brand new background, make them hide and show. If you've forgotten any of the things that I've taught you, I'll send you a link to just the directions in the episode, not the entire episode. So have fun. We'll see you next time. on week 2, session 1.